point visually to the Kingstonian building.
Sure.
And I think that
You mean?
yeah, it can
the
be
canopy?
tied. Pardon?
You mean what mass? Popping out the mass?
The fact that it's going up that's the squaring
base?
it off,
The
and
base?
yeah,
Here you're talking about, right? The whole.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's better than the recesses and the sort of wavy lines that you were trying to deal with the first iteration.
Sure.
I mean, I'm not wedded to precision here, and I guess you guys aren't either, but I just am interested in making sure that what goes there particularly relates well to the streetscapes up north front, down wall, and with the new building that you're proposing. And I like the idea of using the lines of the old Kingstonian. It gives it a real feel, and we want that side of the little park to also have that sense that it's not just melding in, that it is its own spot.
Sure.
So thank you for that.
I'm still going back to the curvilinear front on the brick building, the tall brick building, the garage. I just find it a very strong statement. I don't think that it needs to match what's across the street. In fact, it's good that it isn't. But I think you have to be careful. I mean, I'm thinking like the CVS building on Washington Avenue with the big, I mean, there's a lot of new construction that's going up like that. And it doesn't really feel like the stockade when I look at it. Maybe if it had a flatter front and was still on an angle, maybe, but.
We can look at different options. What's the is it Duo, the restaurant, steakhouse?
That goes uptown on the other corner up by the old bank.
Yeah, that has
They
a
have
look
the curve,
like this.
yeah.
They have the curved entrance.
Bergerman's building just.
No, it's the Virgin.
Oh, Birch, I'm sorry, I
Yeah,
can.
Bergerman.
Yeah, it's similar.
Maybe it's the mass of it.
And
that's
we're also
making
staring
it different.
straight at it in this picture, and I
Yeah.
don't have any other images to
It's
show
like
you
a
because this
ship
would.
coming at me.
Right,
And
well-
I just can't
It's also.
And this isn't the maritime section.
It's unfortunate that this is the only view that I have to show you of it, because
Yeah.
these were just done today.
But
So-
it is like a little different angle or
In
something.
the gray color, maybe the gray color's not going.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So the plan there, and the plan there was to make that curve actually out of metal. So it was a more,
I mean,
I think maybe you could somehow tie that into that atrium.
and I think we can too. I think a metal roof on the atrium would help a lot. Bring it down this story, move out the tree and the fountain, and really see what it looks like, and then give it another go.
Yeah, I think.
I still know about the atrium, but I'll just have to study additional drawings. The roundness of this building, I think is,
You're okay.
it softens it. And then again, like Mark was saying, it is a nice counterpoint to the corner. I
Right.
think how those two corners talk to each other, because I do believe that buildings talk to each other.
Yeah.
And what is the
I hate
one
that I
corner
can't
thing
show
to
you.
the other?
I'm gonna try again. It's.
What do they say?
No.
Looking good.
Stand straight.
When you
That's
keep
like
switching between renderings, the various
That's in my movie.
different renderings of this one perspective, I keep kind of having like this negative feeling when I see the contrasting materials. But when
Yeah.
it's all brick, it just feels a little bit.
Me too. That's why I keep going to the all brick. I showed you the other ones to get some feedback. I heard nothing.
Well, we haven't gotten there yet,
Sure.
but just
I keep going back to this one. This is all brick.
feels
Common.
less is more. I think in this one, I'm also kind of lamenting the loss of a strong emphasis at the storefront level. I'm not saying that maybe it's fine that these are paired windows and not big storefront glass windows, but just a little bit more emphasis, distinction between the base and the upper floor.
I think we could definitely do that.
And
It was,
then I
it was
know-
bringing it down. I think they just kind of carried that same.
Yeah, well,
look
or
right.
again, look at other buildings
Mhm.
and what are the other buildings in the historic district doing at the ground floor.
Yep.
I know that the Pike plan kind of erases the individual identity of a lot of them, but You can still also look at the historic photos to get a sense of what they were historically.
Sure.
I know the balconies are really important to your marketing plan for these units, but I would argue that the being in the historic district is the selling point. And to the extent that it can continue the characteristics of the district, it's important. And balconies, I just feel like you kind of, the project gives it away when you have that recessed balcony. It's like, oh, we're not, it's all surface. You're like flipping your hoop skirt up. I would really like to see that, at least on the corner building, well, across the North Front Street facade, that it stays a solid mass. You don't have recesses.
Even punched openings.
Even punched openings. I mean, that is my opinion. I'm open to hearing other feedback from the commission.
Yeah, I'm unfamiliar with the idea of punched openings, so I would want a chance to go see it someplace else if you've got.
Balconies
Okay.
get lived in, they get messy.
You're a fan of punched openings. Yeah. It's what has been done to old factories throughout urban centers.
But not in this historic district.
Correct. Maybe
That's
not
true.
here.
Yeah,
And
we're
maybe
not dealing with a history of old industrial structure.
To the extent that you can give reverence to the existing street patterns, it's important.
Sure. We're here to compromise. I don't think we'll ever get 100% there.
No, and we understand that.
It is compromise.
Yeah.
We understand that as well, but this particular building doesn't have the same sort of historical referent that the red and white Kingstonian
Right.
style has. So it can be lots and lots of things to lots and lots of people. I get that. But it is such a prominent and important spot within the district. The more it, to use Marissa's term, speaks to its surroundings is a real key to us. And so you're showing some care here. I am happy to see that you've taken the idea of carrying the streetscape line up North Front to heart. It can be done 1,000 ways. We get that too.
Well, we hope the building next door someday becomes brick again.
We think that is likely. Now, I'm trying to remember how far down we got the application to remove the vinyl siding on this side of North Front Street. The old,
Is it aluminum siding?
aluminum. It looks to me
The yellow.
the sort of
This yellow siding
Oh,
here.
that, the whatever cladding.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
it was everything was coming.
right. So, and do we know what's hiding beneath
Brick.
historically? Okay.
Brick.
We have a
Well,
picture.
there was one
Somebody has a
question
picture of it.
over the.
We had it.
It's brick starting at John Perry's building.
Right. Yeah, John Perry's
Not
building
the-
is
Not
brick.
the Uncle Willie's.
Uncle Willie's is not brick.
It's funny.
It should be a brick.
Wood frame.
It's wood frame.
It should be brick.
Uncle Willie's isn't. It wouldn't be
Yeah.
brick.
If it was
If you
brick,
brick
it
siding
wouldn't
off,
be
there'd be
standing
nothing
there
there.
right now.
Well, once you get to John's building, the gym,
Yeah,
bricks
that's
were
right.
in there.
And John went to KLDC and got approval for a loan for it.
Right, and I know that we approved removal, but I wasn't sure if it was all the way down or it's
I think it was all three of the buildings.
Well, yeah, so the John's, it's brick, and then I'm totally like having a mental part, the bar.
Yeah.
Uncle Willie's.
Yeah, Uncle Willie's.
The Uncle Willie's is
That
not
is
brick.
questionable. It looks like it's, I can't tell what kind of facade surface is on top of a wood frame building.
Yeah, it's the same kind of siding, whatever that is. It's
Yeah.
either aluminum or
Yeah, it's
vinyl. I
not-
don't remember.
It's not great.
The side is all asbestos side.
Yeah, the side.
Side is all.
The side facing our parcel is asbestos siding, so it's a whole other thing there. Something's
Ooh,
going-
yeah, right. Okay.
Not your problem.
Yes, well, someday maybe it will be, and we'll be happy to do what we can to make it
Joe,
tie in as
Get
best
a,
we can.
speak to the deliveries in the rear, and also get a general feeling
Oh.
on the view from Schwenk Drive, what the concern would be, or if there are. I think Marissa pretty much told you more concerned.
Sure.
And everything kind
Yeah.
of beyond the plaza, but just so.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, we looked at it. It's not great.
well, it is no longer a full entryway. or a direct entryway. It's an indirect entryway to the stockade. But it is still, you know, where people will go to park, to walk, to come up.
So in terms of deliveries, back here, which isn't really depicted, but this is where all the deliveries are gonna come, and this is the space for the dog park.
The picture you have that showed the mats?
Yeah.
That shows it pretty
Yeah,
well.
that kinda showed it, okay, right here.
There you go.
Yeah, so back here would be deliveries off of this
Clinton Avenue Extension.
Clinton Avenue Extension, exactly, and then back here would be the dog park.
Okay.
So, or whatever.
There's parking for the uptown grill right
Yeah.
Correct, where the parking for the uptown grill is now behind
The
the
rear part is out.
there. The rear parking.
Yeah, exactly, thank you. Okay, I think we got our marching
But if I
orders.
may throw in, you know, also the entrance, the corner entrance too. So
Which corner entrance?
on the corner building, at
Here?
the new corner,
Sure.
it looks like an afterthought right now. I mean,
Oh, it is.
It's only 2 weeks ago, so
That corner entrance was about 2.5 hours ago. Because I got these today, or last night, what I sent you at 10 o'clock PM? Or
Yeah.
something's around there. So I got them yesterday, and then
Thank you
this
for the
morning,
effort.
I called the architect and said, you know, I like this. This is kind of my favorite look, but that's not enough cover as a building owner. Like, I know when you open the doors, you can't have snow on your feet. It has to be covered. So, okay, he's like, well, I don't know if I have enough time to do something.
No, that's fine,
quickly,
that's
so
fine.
it'll be
I
Yeah.
don't know to what extent it's been studied.
Not studied,
So,
drawn today.
but getting back to, when you do come with an application,
Sure.
we want the elevations, we want the plans, we want cross sections so we understand the change in elevation throughout the site. For the hotel building, please do at least a cursory existing conditions analysis of the building, pointing out, you know, what key characteristics of the building, how it will be brought back into the new building, how the new building differentiates from the historic building. We just need to see that documented.
Sure.
In terms of what your architect's doing for the other parts, the new architecture on the complex, for the details that he is referencing in the historic district, please photograph that and show that this references that, this references, like,
Oh,
make a
okay.
case for why it's, it references the district. Okay, just saying it's not enough. So
Sure.
what I'm asking you to do is basically build a case for its appropriateness. And then also I mentioned in the email would be the visibility studies,
Yeah.
understanding from different vantage points.
Sure.
To add to that, I think an important visibility study would be as you're going past the Senate House, coming
Yeah.
around the corner. I think this is
Yeah.
going to loom large in a certain way, and that might inform it's the view, something like the view.
Yeah,
we're going to
it would
have.
be kicked over to the right slightly,
Right.
right? As if you were in a car in the right-hand lane
Right.
on North Front Street.
And so it could be something surprising when you come around that corner, a very sort of beloved view shed in that area. I also had a question about whether or not, I know you had concerns about weight
Yeah.
as far as materiality, the materials. So are you talking brick faced or are you talking brick
Here,
construction?
well, here we're on the top of the hill, so we can do brick.
Okay.
I like real brick. I like real stuff in general. I really don't like using fake materials. So we transition basically at the atrium to clapper of some kind, whether it's board and batten or horizontal, for lots of reasons, but one of them being weight. Brick is very, we talked about this a little before, brick is very heavy, and compounding our underground issue would be if we tried to clad this whole thing in brick. Real brick. And I don't want to use fake brick.
One quick question is, I think I have the answer to it, it's probably, you probably know. And it's archaeology from the old stockade. Do you expect to find any of that, given the history of the, you know, Montgomery Ward is there and gone, and the parking garage is there and gone, you know,
I don't think we will, based on the underground studies we've already done, and Dennis has had others done.
Well, part of the seeker process,
Yeah.
Joe Diamond is being retained to
Okay.
do an assessment.
You're right, that pretty much
But
answers.
as you know, at least on the park, city side property, substantially disturbed and excavated already, probably less so on the Kingstonian side. But Joe Diamond's gonna be doing an assessment, and you're an involved agency, you'll be privy to all of the documents that are submitted to the lead agency. And there isn't a lead agency yet, but presumably that will be the planning board, but you're an involved agency. And there's 7 or 8 involved agencies that, so, including the common council, county legislature, there's a lot of involved agencies, and then there's other interested parties, but you'll be privy to all of that. And if you need or want, if you feel it's in your purview, Mr. Diamond will be making presentations during the pendency of the seeker review.
Alan, do you have a comment?
Yeah, just a few overview observations. I was at the Uptown presentation about a month ago, and I have to admit, I got the feeling that it felt like it was designed for somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing what you've done just in the past few weeks, I'm encouraged that the corner building on the west side opposite the Kingstontian Hotel feels more at home, I think, in Kingston. A lot of it is it's not just the material, it's the form, and I can't get it out of my mind that maybe subliminally behind this is some reference, maybe even in the abstract, to the Stuyvesant Hotel, which has the corner.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right. Our architect looked at a bunch of
Oh, good.
things.
That's greatly encouraging. So more of that kind of abstract referencing, whatever you can do to take clues from what is already here historically, I think is phenomenal. But in the same breath, I wouldn't carry it too far. I actually think maybe the Kingstonian part is too much replicating what used to be there.
Sure.
So I'm throwing up a little red flag of somewhat caution to not oversteer it to a Disneyland kind of feel. So there's a really delicate, as you know, really delicate balance. Your architects, I know this.
Our architect,
Yeah.
just to give a little reference, he himself lives and works in a historic building in Burlington, Vermont.
Yeah.
Owns a building, it's on the National Historic Register, and he also has a house in Italy that was built in the 1600s.
Wow.
So he's familiar with how they work in. The 2 of the buildings he owns and one he lives in are very historic buildings. But we still needed some feedback. Again, we came with the first round of drawings. So now that we're getting some feedback and some ideas, we're continuing to tweak things.
That sounds good. Well, actually, Italy is a perfect example where everything is heavy.
Yes.
For the most part. So this feeling of gravitas, weight, the more you can introduce that. If you can't do it in material because of geological concerns, do it in color. There are ways to compensate. I got the feeling with the first presentation that it felt a little too weightless and bring it back down to earth somehow. And there are all these clues all over Kingston about how to do that. And I guess my only other, I have a few more comments. We've talked about the glass connector atrium ad infinitum, but I may be out on a limb to say this, but I'll just go ahead and share it. I think I would be concerned about unintended consequences of what's beyond the atrium. You may not intend that to be a private park or feel like one, but it does. And whatever you can do to diminish that, maybe it's too big, maybe there's too much space. People love to congregate and feel like they're rubbing elbow to elbow. If you have too much space, maybe you don't need all that space beyond the atrium.
Sure.
So
That's a good point. I think what we hope to do, it's not designed yet, it's not programmed yet.
yeah.
We hope to learn from others who have done this before, and lots of people have. In New York City, I see them all the time. There's great examples of these public atriums that you have to access through private space.
Yeah.
And so I'm hoping that somewhere in the planning process, someone within the city who wants to help work on that. Because it's not our space. I mean, it's our space to steward, but it's not our space. So I don't want to dictate what it is.
Sure.
We're here to help get it built and operate it once it's built, but we need someone to work on that with us, and I appreciate the comment.
So, and the bridge over Schwinn Drive, I know you guys will work that out to feel like, I think the spirit is great. I like the concept. Just tweaking it a little bit is going to go a long way.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right now it's a rectangle.
And one last thing, I actually agree with Marissa that the facade, over where Montgomery Court used to be, it feels better, I think, without the arcade.
Yeah.
Down on the street.
I tend to agree. Again,
Yeah.
we've only had these 24 hours.
Right.
So we haven't even warmed up to each other. And the first time, the first 6 or 7 hours I had, I looked at my phone and I'm like, squid gaming. So, yeah, no, thank you. Really appreciate your comments.
I'd like to reiterate, I think what Marissa was saying earlier was just, when it does get submitted, have the architect provide the historical references, so we know what, we're not guessing, that might be decided as a hotel, but we're not sure. Just delineate that.
Yep, absolutely.
More photos.
And also, I think make the case for the existing Kingstonian, what structural problems there are, because we're just sort of going along with the idea that it can't exist in the form that it's in, but this also means the demolition in the historic district too. So that's a process that we really need to think through.
Sure, we can give you some more documentation. I mean, our original hope is to save the building. So I like converting old spaces. I've done it a number of times, mostly in Newburgh and in Middletown. But nice old brick buildings are fun for me to redo. The problem with that structure is a couple fold, and we can document this and write it out there. The brick on the outside is now the entire outside. So the clapboard siding that's there is no longer at all there. It's just brick. The brick is differentially settled in multiple locations. You can see those cracks that we showed you. Those are a couple of examples of it. So basically, right along North Front Street, it stayed put. But as soon as you start going back down the hill, it breaks in multiple spots. So it's not sound. The floors are all settled inside, and I think at some point, maybe, I don't know, we can share with you some of the survey information. The floors are all different levels, which in and of themselves could be fixed, except the structural partitions within the space are divided up into these small rooms, and you can't knock them out without the whole building coming down. So you end up, then there's the other issue of the floor plate size and exit distances with the stairwells and the elevator shaft. And by the time you have to try to fix all those problems to build, there would be nothing left to build.
I think.
So we really did
Yeah,
try.
so
Yeah, we understand.
So in your application,
Right.
kind of
Explain.
put like that.
Because that documentation is really important too, historically, to what existed before, and.
It existed and then it got changed.
Right,
So now
right.
it's not like that.
And-
They're all little storerooms essentially.
Absolutely.
What did you store upstairs? Screws, nails, and
Hammers, everything. These
Right.
are really small rooms, we put bookshelves all around the corner. We
Yeah,
replaced the
I-
flooring numerous times. It's just, and the bulk of that building, we put on as an addition ourselves in the 50s, so that's not even heated, never has been, it's concrete and brick.
Any of that you can sort of commit to
Sure.
a sort of, not really a report, but that's sort of oral
Yeah.
history knowledge that
Yeah.
you have about the structure of the building, and I think historically it's important for us to sort of retain.
Like Joe said, we would love to have been able to do it the other way.
Yeah.
It's
And
important
that
for me.
style of room is very familiar. Actually, my great-grandfather's hotel in Sharon Springs was laid out very much the same way.
The individual traveler.
It's important for me if, like you said, you find any elements of the hotel that you reuse, that you reuse them.
Yep.
Kevin, one thing we missed, and you guys might remember from the last meeting, the architect with the glass, just going back to the glass, he created a depth perception with the style of glass he's put in. So if you're up on North Front Street, when you look through the glass was gonna make you have the feeling you were looking down. And if you were in the pedestrian plaza, he was going the other direction, so the glass would have to make you look like you were going up. So he created, and I don't know if that got lost in that last meeting.
Yeah, and it's hard
Maybe
to
that's why that
visualize
size
with what
color,
we're
why
seeing
it's two
here.
stories.
It's hard to kind of,
But that's what he was trying to get, so if you're standing up on North Front, he wanted to create, by looking down, even though you're looking into a flat plaza, your eye would think you're looking down the grade, down the hill, and vice versa. If you're standing in the plaza looking back up towards the Senate House, you would think you're looking up towards the sky. And he could speak to that himself.
Yeah, once we move the stuff out of the way, we'll be able to see it better. Now that we know that's the next, the purpose of today was to get some feedback and buy-in on this new look for the corner building. We did nothing to the atrium at all.
And nothing
Since
really
last
happens
meeting.
with the-
But now we'll work on the atrium
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
And the walkway,
I think.
and the walkway, right?
in the rear of the building.
I think for, at least for the corner building, just, it's the details.
Yeah. Well, in urban,
Unless other commissioner, I mean, if the other commissioners have strong feelings, we say that now. I mean, we can discuss details
Sure.
as we move ahead, but I think we're, okay, so it sounds like we're,
thank you, that's great. That was the purpose. We had to work on something first, so that was it. And now we'll work on the atrium next, and there'll be different options.
I want to thank you, all of you, for, you know, I mean, you really did listen to us, and I mean, I see that, so thanks.
We appreciate you guys altering your meeting schedules and accommodating this. Hopefully we'll have an ongoing dialogue throughout the process as we go through the planning stages, which I know is unusual. Hopefully don't step on any of their toes, because I know we're doing it a little different.
I think it will give the city a long-term better result, and I really appreciate the collegial way you're trying to knit a complicated process within the city together and make it all move forward. I'm hoping it'll be kind of a model that the city will want to follow as they look at rewriting the code. So thank you for that.
Can we also get a copy of the video? Is it online or something?
Yeah.
That's on YouTube, yeah.
Okay.
I'll send you a link with that.
Kingstontian.org.
Okay.
It'll be on there. I mean, I'm only providing the service through the YouTube, but it's gonna be
That's fine.
directed there, and I'll have her contact you.
Just so we can give it to our professionals if there's any, details and
Sure.
whatnot.
That's a great idea.
We're all taking notes, but,
No, it's not gonna be edited. I've been filming for a while, doing these meetings. Not to worry about that.
Great.
All right.
We'll get out of here. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Interested in what he's saying as they might be